And you can see the surviving piece of the plastic which fits within the bushing itself.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're back out on the Audi TT and it's more front suspension work. So for my previous videos on the front suspension, which I'll drop a link to below, you would have seen some of the work that I've completed, some of the parts I've replaced. There are a few more just left to do, and really this is the primary culprit for the banging and squeaking that you might experience from the front of an Audi TT. I think a lot of what I would say modern classic Audis suffer from this as well. So a lot of them share the same front component pieces, so S3s, TTs, even I think across some of the other brands like Seat and Skoda and so on. So they are in particular the ARB bushes, so anti-roll bar bushes, and or the sway bar, front sway bar, whatever you prefer to call it. These generally are the culprits that when they break down you start to get squeaking and banging, and that is a job that I have to do today. If you haven't seen the previous videos I've done on the front suspension, I'll drop a link there so you can get up to speed with them. Please do consider subscribing, and that will keep you up to date with all the work that I'm doing on the TT. So with that, let's get out there and start fixing these ARBs.
Okay, so on to the next step of trying to solve the squeaky banging, I guess, on the front suspension. From previous videos, you know that I've done the tie rod ends. I've also put new drop links on, and the drop links tie to the sway bar or the anti-roll bar on the front. And if you can just make out there, those bushes, these are the ones that tend to be the issue when you get sort of banging and squeaking through your suspension. When these rubbers break down, and also on the, I guess, the manufacturing fit in terms of plastic containers that go around them as well, which is that bit there. And as you can see, over time they crack and fail, so you get lateral movement in the bar, so it goes side to side through the bushing. Now there's obviously the way to fix that is get a new bar with the plastic fittings from Audi, which costs quite a bit, and it's a big old job to take the subframe down and obviously fit the new bar. Alternatively, you can get tighter bushings which will hold the bar better, and even like little clips that you can put either side of this bar on the inner, so Jubilee clips I've seen used. So I'm going to fit new bushings because they do definitely need replacing, and I'm going to go for the Jubilee clip option to hold everything in place so we don't get too much lateral movement, and hopefully that will solve the issue of the squeaking and banging from the anti-roll bar. So it's tight. As you can see, there's one bolt just up here. It flicks out, the whole bracket comes out, and then you can get access to the bushing itself, which is this, and it opens at the end there, so you can slide it onto the bar. But first things first, let's undo the anti-roll bars drop links themselves and start taking apart these. Hopefully I can get in there because it is tight, as you can see, and we can get these bushings changed. Okay, so we have removed the drop link which is attached to the sway bar, the anti-roll bar, and as you can see I've done that both sides, so it is now moving up and down freely. And what I was trying to show or demonstrate is that lateral movement. So you can see there it's sliding back and forth. Just give it another go, which obviously causes disruption to your front handling. So let's now get in there and remove that top bolt and start to see what we're dealing with. Okay, so you can see that it's very awkward just to get that bolt out that holds the bracket, and yeah, just take your time, a few swear words, and out it comes. It's a 13mm head, and there is the culprit. Needs a bit of a clean up, but as you can see, that is now apart, and you just give it a little tug with a screwdriver, and you can see that's now starting to come apart. So let's move on. Now I should also say that this bracket is also attached around the side, which you can't make out from this position, but if you come over the drive shaft and just behind the subframe, you will see that bolt there, which is attached to the bracket that you're trying to remove for your anti-roll bar. So there is yeah, it's very tight to get to, so you've got to work a bit of magic here to get a socket on there or a spanner and just try and undo this so the bracket can ultimately come off, so you can change your bushing. So let's see what sort of magic I can rustle up. Okay, so you would have seen that I've just removed the airbox, so this pipe here, which the MAF sensor is connected to as well, just slots out here as a bolt here and a bolt here. It's 10mm all round, so nice and easy. And as you can see now, with my light down there, it is shining on the bracket bolt that you need to undo, which holds I want to say it's one of the cooling pipes, something like that anyway, but or air conditioning pipes, not 100% sure, but anyway, that's the bolt we need to get to. So much easier to come down from the top of the engine to get access to that bolt. So let's get that one undone now. Okay, so we finally got the bushing off on the passenger side, which is the one that has that pig of a bracket attached to a cooling or air conditioning pipe. Don't know which one, maybe oil cooling, who knows. So coming in from the top of the engine, you can actually undo that, and once that's released, it releases the bracket here, which you can see just and it slots into a little groove underneath there. You can just make out the hole, and you can see the surviving piece of the plastic, which fits within the bushing itself. And when they crack and break, this bar is able to move more freely side to side, which you don't want too much of course. So now I have to peel off that piece of plastic, tidy up the bar a little bit, and reinstall some new bushes. I mean, to be fair, I've seen bushes in a lot worse condition, but the new one should be a lot tighter fit to stop that side to side movement, and also the clunking and banging and squeaking that you hear when these plastic bits break down and fail. So let's get on and tidy all this up and put the new one on. Okay, so you can see that I've got the new bushing fitted. I've also got the Jubilee clip on. You can either put it this side or the other side. I've seen both ways. Now, with the new one, obviously the bracket needs to be compressed quite hard, just so you can thread the bolt in. You can see the gap there between the place that it screws in and the brackets. So you do need something that like a long pair of long-nosed pliers to compress this in. So very tricky. I'm going to give it a go and see if I can get this this nut and screw back in. Okay, so just took a moment to clean the mass air flow sensor with some AR2810. This is pretty good stuff, just to make sure that everything works well, because yeah, these are generally the cause of hiccups with the engine. So anyway, back to the bushes. And as you can see, it's fitted. I did also replace the screw or the nut, as that yeah, this one here just failed to screw back in. So I think replacing new ones actually does a good job as well. So everything is buttoned up and tightened down. You can actually tighten from here. It is difficult, or certainly on this side you can come down through the top of the engine. As you can see there, at the top of the bolt, you can actually get to it and tighten it off there, and then re-tighten that bracket that's holding that that cooling tube. So that one is the passenger side all done, and I think it's is the tough side. I think on all the forums and stuff, this side is generally the pain. The other one tends to be a bit easier. So anyway, let's get on and get the driver's side done now. Okay, so that's all the air filter box, MAF sensor and battery cover all fitted back. As you can see, everything is locked down, torqued up, so no issues there. Still leaving this one undone, so we can move around to the other side, as you see. And this one should be, I hope, a little bit easier. So should just be able to undo that that screw, that bolt, and hopefully slide the new bush on. So let's get cracking. Okay, so yep, this side is much easier, the driver's side. It is just that one bolt, and you slot a screwdriver underneath and just pry it out, and everything is good. So this is what I'm left with. This is the old bush with the bracket and the plastic retainer. These are the ones that crack and fall to pieces, so that's got the edge there, but on this side it's completely missing and snapped in piece. So yeah, you just make sure that you remove that completely from the bar. There's no plastic left. Tidy it up, new bushing goes on, and then just here I'll put a new Jubilee clip on the other side just to clamp it and save it from moving from side to side. But yeah, you can see that although the bush isn't split or anything, the hole is definitely much larger than the new ones going on. So hopefully everything should hold in place nice and tight. Okay, so we've got that that one fitted as well, again with a new bolt at the top because the old one just wouldn't screw in. So I think there's a top tip there, always use new bolts on these. I think there's something on the forums about self-tapping, but anyway, it worked for me, putting new bolts in. And the Jubilee clip, bit of paint just to make sure that everything stays rust free, and yeah, everything is tightened up, locked down and ready to go. So what we have to do is just reinstall the drop links both sides, put the wheels back on and take it for a spin.
Okay, so that is the final piece, I think, now of the front suspension to stop the squeaking and the banging. I've done a quick test and there is silence, which is great. Now, it is a fiddly job. You saw the steps I went through. I think there's a couple of easy wins where you might have to remove some of the parts on top of the engine just to get access to some of the bolts. It just makes it easier when you're trying to, you know, really undo and do up those bolts to the right torques and specs and so on. So I hope they've been useful. Some of those steps that I've shown today, the car is acting as it should, so that is great. And more videos to come on the Audi TT as I come to the end of this project. The month being May is really getting it complete and moving it on. So some of the final jobs I'll be doing are cosmetic, and yeah, those videos will be along very soon.